Ladies and gentlemen, Donovan Mitchell.
All right, Cavs and Bulls, second game in a row minus Garland and Mobley, but it did feature somebody else, Donovan Mitchell. And you know what? I'm just going to send out a formal apology to all the Cavaliers players that won't be featured in this video. Mitchell scored half of the team's points, but it was a team rally that brought the Cavaliers back from down 21 in this game. Let's go ahead and send this out to John Michael and Brad Daugherty.
4 seconds. Here we go. He missed it. Mitchell! Mitchell pulls up. He knocks it down. Here's Mitchell. He just blew right past Levine. Mitchell to the basket. He gets it. Mitchell steps back. Mitchell for three. Unbelievable. Mitchell looks for 70.
A 71-point Spider-Bite. Cavs win 145-134.
So, in sports,
oh my God,
and just sports fandom, there's a lot of things that could happen, and I want to hear your guys' take on this right off the top. But I don't think ever in my life, and especially leading up to this season, I don't think I ever would have imagined that I would have witnessed a top 7 performance in NBA history. That's what it is. Outside of, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain has all the high scoring games. Everybody knows that. But Kobe Bryant, Devin Booker, now Donovan Mitchell and we witnessed it 2023, like craziest start to the new year ever. Justin, just do it. Take that victory lap. I want it fast too. I wanted the fastest victory lap ever, because I know you don't like doing that, but let us know, Donovan Mitchell.
Man, Logan, you don't even fit all the points and buckets in there. I was especially fond of the 4-point play. 4-point plays are just always the craziest thing to me. But the victory lap. I mean, who would have thought a year ago? It was a pinned tweet, and I'm gonna go back and find it one day. Mm-hmm. But I tweeted in January last year when we played Utah at home, and Darius and Donovan were both on the court for like 15 minutes afterwards, just talking to each other. And I just remember tweeting out that these two needed to get on a team together. Thought Jeff and I were going to witness it at the All-Star game in Cleveland last year. Didn't happen, but we got him. We give away, none of the core 3 pieces, some picks, some nice young players, but like Jeff said, he's instantly gone from just being an all-star, MVP to a historical player. He's immediately ingrained himself in the history of the NBA, and he's done it in a Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. We've witnessed history before in that jersey, and we just witnessed it again. And I don't think it'll be the last time with Donovan Mitchell, especially with this team that we have.
Logan, you cut up the highlights. How hard was it what was your favorite play? Because there's a couple that obviously stand out, even though it was 71 points. Every play he made at down the stretch, at some point, it was like, what is even happening? Like we didn't even believe what we were witnessing. But not to
cut Logan off, but the putback obviously is like the best.
I knew you were going to say that.
I didn't want to say it because I was like, oh, well, it's too obvious. The putback's
But the play where he gets the ball on our end, like at our 3-point line, and just outruns.
Damn it, you're taking my answer. You're taking my answer.
Yes, I knew we were on the same page.
Dude, he just took the ball and went. I'm going to say this. That was the greatest Cleveland Cavaliers performance I've ever seen, and I've watched LeBron James my whole life.
Correct.
That is enough said right then and there. 71 points, half of the team's production. And like I said in the video, I have 59 seconds to cut up some highlights, right? I cannot cut everything that went on in this game. We were down 21 in this game, and that seems like such an afterthought in the grand scheme of the story that was this game. 71 points. It's only happened 7 times in NBA history. It's the first 70-point 10-assist game in NBA history, which, by the way, let's talk about that. 11 assists for Donovan. He got guys involved. Love hit some big shots. LeVert hit a big one in the corner. LeVert almost held Donovan back from getting 70 with the way he's trying to take over in overtime, but we'll leave that to the side. Jetty was terrific in the fourth quarter, hit some big shots as well. But, I mean, the story is Donovan. I have never seen a game like that where it's like you're watching it just feels like another Cavalier game, another random, another random Monday night basketball game. He's got, I think it was like a 16, 17 at the half, whatever. We're down to 18 points at that point. And I didn't even really think I was going to tune in. And then I get home, I turn on the fourth quarter, I see we're down like 5 points, and I think Mitchell scores, and John goes, he's got 44. And I'm like, he's got 44? Okay, so he's going for 50.
Right. And I thought 50, I was like, 50, we're having a hell of a night.
Yes,
and then it was like, he just kept going.
So when he's at 50, I'm like, okay, LeBron and Kyrie, the franchise high is 57. I think he's going to beat it. And then he gets a tip shot to go to overtime to also surpass Kyrie and LeBron in that category. And now I'm thinking we're going overtime. Donovan's hot. He's going for 70 points tonight. And no, it wasn't like LeBron where I wake up and I'm like, I just knew he was going to go for 70 points tonight. And you know, one of LeBron's crazy predictions that he's been called out for. There's no way in hell I could have predicted that last night, but I'm sure glad it happened.
Honestly, easily the hottest basketball player I've, like, as far as just his rhythm, I've never seen anybody more in rhythm and just ready to shoot the basketball than Donovan Mitchell last night, second half and overtime. And go rewatch the short that we uploaded, what we played at the beginning of this video. The reactions, watch the Bulls players the second time you watch it around. It is hilarious. DeRozan is just throwing his hands up. Levine's like shaking his head. He literally took the soul right out of the basketball team, and we all witnessed it just right in front of our eyes.
DeRozan scored 44. Hold on. DeRozan scored. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
DeRozan
you're
scored
good.
44. LeBron last night scored 43. Klay Thompson scored 54, and they didn't have the best performances of the night.
Nope.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective.
Here's a good one, because Justin, gives me 5 minutes, and I'm a Twitter snoop. So here you go. A year ago, this is from January 13th of 2022, literally almost 12 months ago. And this is from Bally Sports of Donovan Mitchell quote about Darius Garland. It'll probably never happen, but I'd do anything for Garland and Mitchell to be in Cleveland together as a backcourt with our two bigs. Like, okay, whatever. Maybe, one tweet, people always get lucky. Justin, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell on a team playing together in Cleveland. Eye emoji. Always on top of it. Always all over it. Since literally a year ago, January, February. You said at the All-Star break, we were there. We saw them talking to each other like, okay, this could be a real possibility.
Yeah.
Dude. Yes. I wasn't even I gotta remember, because we had the two matchups with right? It was two matchups with Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, Utah, you mean? Are you talking
Utah.
about this?
Yeah,
Utah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you're talking about this season.
I don't know why I was saying Milwaukee, but Utah. The one game ends with like 1 point. Garland. I could have swore that was a good game.
Yeah, it was the game I had strep throat and I couldn't even watch it. And I remember just reading the stat line for both Garland and Mitchell. Didn't they both have like 40 or something? Or
on that it said that Garland had 11 points.
That was in Utah. That was the game in Utah where Lamar Stevens had like 23 or something like that. And
but in that game in Cleveland, they both dropped like 30 and 40. I think Donovan had 40 and Darius had 30, or Donovan had 30 and won the game, but Garland had 40. But anyways, just I can't believe we're here today, and it's not a one-time occurrence, during the All-Star break. It's crazy.
And it's like, obviously everything has to go right for a game like that to happen, but it's even more impressive that Garland is out, Mobley is out, and it's just the sheer fact that we found a way to win the basketball game was the second best part, because the first best part was obviously 71 points, but the putback and then the overtime domination. I mean, I love us in overtime. I'm taking us in overtime. Yeah. Literally, we'll go to overtime. I don't know what it is if we want it more, but there was a point in that game where it was just Donovan Mitchell he was better than all five guys combined out there for Chicago. There was nothing they could do. And I don't know, that Chicago team is good against good opponents too. So just so many different factors.
They played well against us last night. It's just like, hey,
right.
They played well enough to beat us by 20.
You know, Jeff, what you were talking about with like DeRozan and just the rest of their players, like the demoralization that Donovan Mitchell was doing last night, it's like you see that in football way more than you see it in basketball because, once a team's up by like 28 points or something and it's like the third quarter, like dudes are just defeated on the other side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just like they're not trying to do nothing. They're just trying to get the clock to run and get out of there. But like when dudes are playing one-on-one and you're constantly in the face of another, guy playing a sport, you're trying to compete your ass off. And DeMar DeRozan and Donovan Mitchell, those dudes went nuts last night. But what can you say? Like, it's competition rises to competition, and without Garland, without Mobley, Donovan has to add on a couple points to his regularly scheduled, 30 to 40. So he goes and he gets 20 from Garland, gets 15 from Mobley. Hell of a night. I just don't I don't even know like how to react to it, honestly.
You can't. There's literally no words. But this is the best, is that just take a look and let's just take a look at it while it's still fresh, because you're just never going to see you're never going to see a box score like this again.
So stupid.
He has 14 points at halftime. 14.
Oh God.
He scores 57 points in the third, fourth quarter, and overtime. So he does not check out. He plays 50 minutes, obviously. But this is the only time, unless he goes for 70 again, where you don't really care how many minutes he plays. Who cares? That's what JB was like, okay, I do appreciate, and this is like the nuanced take of the episode maybe, but I do appreciate JB recognizing what was going on and not trying to get weird about him playing a lot of minutes and, we don't have Mobley, we don't have Garland, maybe we'll throw in the towel for this game. That never crossed his mind, which I really do appreciate.
According to Donovan, JB tried to take him out a few times, and Donovan said, I'm not going out.
Well, even better. So I guess I'm giving JB too much credit.
Right? He trusts his franchise guy to get the job done and play safe.
It's crazy because like you listen to Kevin and JB. I was able to catch the snippets this morning because I went to bed after that game was over. But it really was a matter of like, we're talking about we've never really experienced that. JB being like, yeah, I've never experienced that in person is crazy. But like, it's so important that it does, like those moments do happen, even for JB. Like, yeah, of course we don't want him to be like, a newborn and learning new things about coaching in general. But like to know that, hey, I have this player on my team that can change the dynamic of the entire game and how it's going and when it's going and what's going on, it's good for him to learn those things. Because then Kevin Love on the opposite end, who it feels like he should be the coach saying that like, oh, hey, like I've seen some special moments, but that was up there, It's crazy to, just kind of like breathe in the emotions or like the thoughts that people had from, just the performance in general, and just kind of like comparing it to the LeBron moments, to the Kyrie moments, just overall Cavalier moments and NBA moments too. It's nuts.
And even games earlier this year, Garland had that one fourth quarter that I think he had like 20 points. Yeah, he had like 24. So it's like after the big third quarter, it wasn't even, we still weren't even in a territory where it was unknown. Like, okay, we've seen people have big quarters this year. Garland's had a couple of 50-point games, which is, I think, just the way that the scoring is up in the NBA, people think 50 is like, you see people get 50, and so maybe it's not as big of a deal as it was
nowadays,
20 years ago, but 50 points is still wild. But after you hit that 60 range, it's really starting to get nuts. And to get all the way to 70, the free throws obviously help a bunch, but he was literally unguardable last night, getting to the rack, and that's all he did was just make sure that the defense couldn't do anything for him.
Another part I liked about it is Luka has that 60-point game,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets the tip in to go to overtime. and Donovan goes for 71, gets the tip in to go to overtime. It's just like
Nice
sports
one,
are just so cool like that. Like, just like they have all the stats, they have all the numbers. Last time this happened on a Tuesday in 75-degree weather, this happened.
Correct.
Like, they got it all. But like for the parallels to happen in the same season, in the same, almost the same month, almost I guess not the same year, it's pretty wild to see how that all comes together in the same season.
And this is, I think, Justin, you said the dynamic of the game. This could be like a dynamic of the season type of performance. You see teams just take off because of one performance, or you see teams totally die. Like the Bulls, how do you move on?
Where do you go
that?
from here?
Like you just got 71 put on your head. And DeRozan, like we said, had a good game, great game, 44 points. It's just like you're a sputtering team, and you've beat good teams this year, but that's just the all-time performance. Like that's a Jalen Rose meme. I mean, Kobe put 80 on him. That's how it goes. So
hopefully he makes a commercial out of that with his Spider-Man stuff. That'd be sick.
That'd be cool.
We're probably gonna need it. We're gonna need a short film. Maybe they'll do a comic book. 71 for Spider.
He'll be in
I don't even know.
movie.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what else we should talk about. Obviously, we're gonna get to predictions, but because the predictions are heating up, they are getting good. But
yeah, spicy.
This is just like my whole memory has been erased from even the first Bulls game and the Pacers game, because all I could think about is this dude Spider just dicing him up in the second half last night at a crazy clip.
I mean, to be honest, we hate calling things must wins, but just like lately, obviously with the Eastern Conference right now, Philly's on fire, Brooklyn's on fire, and one loss could send you back to 5th in the Eastern Conference suddenly. Right now, we're just keeping pace, and it sucks. It took 71 to win last night, but obviously with Garland and Mobley out, those are the kind of nights that you're okay with having to have a guy go off that much. But yeah, I mean, like the Indiana game, just to kind of give you a quick tidbit, I knew we were going to win that game. It's just not a team we match up with well. We know this at this point halfway through the season what teams we match up with well. We match up very well with the Chicago Bulls. We really do. We match up well with the Boston Celtics. We match up less good with the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, obviously, I think our next podcast, I'm sure you're going to have a whole segment talking about our first half thoughts. And I just think this week kind of encapsulated the way the Cavaliers are this season. We have an unbelievable player. We struggle with young teams that are, not quite at our level, but maybe might be there soon enough. And, even minus some guys, whereas last year we would have lost last night's game. We have Donovan freaking Mitchell. I mean, that's my thoughts through 3 games. I think it really perfectly encapsulated the week that was this Cavaliers basketball.
It's just crazy because this is just the state of the East. Like, you're 10 games above 500, without playing a considerable amount of games with Garland hurt this year. Mobley's missed some time. Obviously, Jared Allen's missed some games. And you're still 10 games above 500. You're only in the 4th seed. I am optimistic about the road record. It's still not where anybody really wants it to be, but it's trending in the right direction, I think. And that home record, I mean, you just have some crazy home records in the East.
Yeah.
It really is that much of an advantage, especially Boston, considering we beat them there. They're 15-5 at home. Like, you have to keep winning ball games, though. It's just one of those years in the NBA in the East where it's going to be annoying to drop games to Indiana, even if it's December, dropping. We got 2 games we're predicting this week against Phoenix and they don't have Devin Booker. Like, it's going to be annoying if we drop those games, and they're not going to be easy games, but it's just the reality of the situation where beat teams you should beat, compete with teams who are just as good as you, or if not a little bit better. And we could live with the results if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you wonder though, like, hey, is Donovan going to take a page out of Karras's book and just, he scored all of his points for the month of January, or he scored all of his points for the year actually? Wow. Now he'll just average 10.
Guys, where did Brooklyn come from? Did you guys see that one-handed putback dunk by Kyrie last night?
Crazy. What are they? 12 in a row? Were they 13-12?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing unreal brand of basketball. Like
Philly's
you said,
on
Philly
our heels now.
Is that since they fired Steve Nash?
Yeah, they've been great since they fired.
I think they fired him a little bit before that, but
yeah,
took him a couple of games to get on.
They're like 7. They have like 17 wins with Kyrie and KD both on the court. But I mean,
Kitty's just balling.
Honestly, like
8 teams with 20 wins in the East.
8 teams with 20 and like weird teams you wouldn't expect. Like I did not expect the Knicks to be in this position or Indiana. And then you have the Hawks underperforming. You have the Bulls who we kind of expected this. And then
Without
the Raptors,
Lonzo, they're just different.
The Raptors are just not that good this year.
Detroit,
I don't know.
Yeah, just honestly, a really weird. I mean, they're looking at what Raptors, Bulls, 2 teams that should be up at the top. Hawks is another one, but instead, can you scroll up real quick? Then who do we not expect to be in this position? We said the Knicks. I mean, the Heat are expected to be there.
Indiana.
Pacers are a surprise this year, but truly,
Probably
that's just the Eastern Conference. It is a very competitive conference. We picked the wrong time to be good,
for sure. And it's like you understand because you understand the matchups. Like we don't match up good with Toronto. We don't match up good with Indiana, but they're going to have worse records than us this year. They are. That's just how it is. Like Toronto is really not that good. They're sitting at 12th in the East, 16-21. They have 2 or 3 wins against us. 2?
Yeah, they have all 3. They have 3.
So,
opening night, yeah. I think
it's like, you're going to look back, maybe scratch your head a little bit if you don't remember the exact situation or scenario, but
this is oddly familiar from last year when we got around this time with All-Star break coming up. Well, not All-Star break coming up, but just like I feel like January in general, like we were hot. We were probably around this like 20 win margin or something like. What is it exactly? I'm sorry.
24 and 14.
24 and 14,
it's because we lost Rubio late December. Was when
right, and
hopefully we'll get him back.
Right. I mean, we did lose pieces and stuff last year. I guess for some reason, I just feel like it's weird timing that like we're at this 20, we're in the top 4 again in standings, and then I don't know. January's just a bad.
We were the number 2 team in the East at the All-Star break last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is crazy.
Break?
Yeah, at the All-Star break, we were number 2.
Because we're probably not going to be number 2 this year. We could be, but it's like you would have thought at the All-Star break this year we had a lot better chance of being 2 or better than we did starting last season compared to starting this season. But that's just not how the NBA works. Interestingly enough, some of us are getting hot in the predictions. So we got 2 clean. What a great week. You got Mitchell with 71, and we have 2 out of 3 clean sweeps. Justin stinks.
I'm bad. Cool.
That's
last year though. Like the gap between us was so like not me and you, Jeff. Me and you were. This was how we were last year. Like
right. Well, it's competitive. I love it.
Yeah. Now Logan is brought down to earth because we don't start in the middle of the season, so he's only a game ahead. But we'll get back there.
Honestly, all right. Here's what we're gonna have to decide. So Sunday is the 8th. Okay. I say mark your calendars for Sunday because that's already halfway through the games this season. Sunday is the 41st game of the year. Absolutely has flown by. We're on episode 11 of Cavs Encapsulated, and we do appreciate everyone who's tuned in this season. But it is weird how they set up the season because the All-Star break is kind of like 62% of the way into the season or something weird. We do play more than half the games before the All-Star break. But Logan, you're coming off of 3 in a row. You're on top for the 5th straight week. Ever since episode 7, you have been on top. So,
no, Justin, I'm sorry.
I'd like to hear your diagnosis and your thoughts on this upcoming game. So, I think they already released stuff because it's tomorrow, right? I don't think Rubio's playing.
Yeah, he's expected back in the first 2 weeks of January is what I'm hearing.
And I think they're going to do it at a home game, so I don't think we're going to see him until after the 10th, which is
you're right.
But
this is a tough 4-game stretch here for the Cavs, especially when we think about Garland's health. I imagine Mobley will probably be back here soon, maybe even against Phoenix. But I think Garland's going to be missing a few more games with that hand. I mean, those things are not easy to recover from.
Is it what is his injury? Does anyone really know?
I haven't heard. Remember last year when we just never got the specifics of injuries? We even know Colin Sexton had a torn ACL till like a week and a half later.
And you have to have one of the best medical staffs in the league. They're literally coming from the Cleveland Clinic.
It's weird. I don't know.
Is it a thumb or is it a hand? Like I don't even know.
That makes a big difference. I don't know.
Right.
When it comes to the game at home versus Suns, I think this is the one the Cavs have to win. So I'm going to take the Cavs. I mean, obviously you have minus Booker, but this is a truly solid Phoenix team. You got Chris Paul that can still lead you. You got Mikal Bridges going to give you issues both defensively and the way he can shoot the ball. DeAndre Ayton versus Jared Allen obviously is a very intriguing matchup for me. But I do think with being at home, coming off a 71-point game, it would make sense for the Cavs to lose this one. But I think they got to take this one because I don't think it's going to be easy the next 3.
These 4 games is so interesting because we'll decide if we want to predict the Jazz game because it is on a Tuesday 1 week from today, which is weird for us.
Usually we don't, I guess.
Usually it doesn't happen, but I have it penciled in just in case we want to get interesting. But 3 out of these 4 games on the road, but all of these games are 1 or 2 days apart. Technically,
back-to-backs.
Fourth, 6th, 8th, and 10th, which I actually like. That's kind of how I like it. But yeah, Logan, I have to agree with you. I think that this is a Cavs game to lose just because you're so good at home, and even with the injuries, they're missing Booker, so I'd say pretty even. And it's not all sunshines and roses in Phoenix, but I'm curious to see what Justin has to say.
I'm gonna just follow the course and just say Cavs win. Just follow the course for this one. But if you want to go back to me, you want to snake this, or you want to
You can snake it if you want.
I'll go with a Nuggets win here.
Oh, I'm actually not surprised you said that, and I don't like this stretch of 3 games. I really, really don't.
I already I looked at it and had it already preconceived in my mind, like no matter what the record or
I think
what win loss was going to be.
Let's say Mobley's still out for this game. I think this is and this is no disrespect to Jarrett Allen because I think he's a really good defender, a great defender, pushing elite. I just think this is a game where Jokic just could go for 50 on us, and I just don't think we win if that's the case. So I think the Nuggets are one of the more slept-on teams in the league as far as a little bit of their bench pieces. They have some unsung heroes out there. You have Bones Highland, who's always serviceable.
Killer.
Yeah, so I like how the Nuggets are constructed from a theoretical standpoint.
They kind of remind me of Memphis a little bit.
Sure.
They have really good depth rotation and everything.
Right.
And the one obvious superstar player surrounded by good quality players.
It's a good way to put it.
Logan.
I like the Nuggets. Jamal Murray could cancel out a lot of what Donovan Mitchell's could do. Aaron Gordon's been playing very well, and him and Jokic have a great two-way, chemistry. I think they're going to kill us beyond the arc. We're not great defending the arc. Look at Denver's team. Their starting lineup is so solid. I don't know who starts at point guard. I don't know if they start Bones. Sometimes they have him come off the bench, but then they have Murray, followed by Michael Porter Jr., followed by Aaron Gordon, followed by Nikola Jokic. And we've actually had the Nuggets number over the last few seasons, but I don't like us in Denver, especially if we're even short even one of Garland or Mobley.
I think our formula is weird, because this is probably a lot of teams' defensive formula. I'm okay with the 1-2 punch. It's just even when there's a third guy who's competent, not that they're good or bad players, but if they could have a competent performance, just seems like we struggle defensively. And honestly, I'm sure I'm forgetting about a performance, but both games against Boston, I feel like Tatum and Brown had good games, but there was never really a competent third option where I was really, nervous about the situation. Not that there wasn't a threat there, but as the game progressed, like you just said, Logan, I think that the Nuggets present a third option that's an issue, a fourth option that's an issue defensively, and I'm not a huge fan of that matchup. Unfortunately, I don't think we get away with doing the sweep against the same team twice. I don't know. Denver to Phoenix, that's just a recipe for disaster to me.
Justin.
I agree with Jeff. Yeah.
And I don't want to be like this.
Logan's going to agree with us too, because I feel like we're all in the same boat of how all 4 of these games will probably go, but that's just me.
I'm taking the Cavs.
Ooh. I knew who was going to do that. You might have goaded him. Yeah, you might have done it. I like that. So what are we going to
play?
To me, is Booker out for that game as well?
I think he is. I think he's 3 to 4 weeks sideline.
And I know that's not my reasoning for going with this, but obviously it plays a big factor. I just kind of feel like we need one of those signature road wins. And when we inevitably lose in Denver, I feel like Donovan's not going to allow us to lose in Phoenix.
Fair.
I do get nervous again about the Suns' shooting capabilities and Chris Paul and the way he can lead the team. But I think you know how it is. Whenever we pick these games, sometimes you just have those games that speak to you, right? Like games that you're just like, oh, I for sure know this, and I don't have any rhyme or reason for it. I just kind of get the sense this has to be the one the Cavaliers get on the road to kind of get right with their road record.
I'd be in for that. I just said earlier in this episode, I think that the road record's trending in the right direction, but I'd prefer not to play road games on the West Coast, like the adjunct West Coast. I mean, Denver and Phoenix is basically, it's not like Golden State, it's not like a Golden State, LA type of situation, but it's like the second worst thing to me, or like a Portland, Golden State, Clippers.
I'll make this prediction, and this might be bold. I think that second Suns game is a good game for Kevin Love.
Why? Just the thought. Just the thought.
I think he's gonna have opportunities when it comes to pick and pop action with the Suns. They like to really bite on a lot of things. They really like wherever the ball is, they swarm it. And I think if you can run that pick and pop, get him open, I still think he's going to give up 35 points. But I think this might be a game where he gives you 5 to 6 3-pointers, gets 20 points. And believe me, they're going to need it if we don't have Mobley or Garland. If we get Mobley back for this game, I really like our chances.
Kevin Love is like another one. Like, is he better when he starts this year?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the man played like 38 minutes.
He's cooked.
Let's not, in terms of counting people's stats and stuff from yesterday, let's just leave that.
Well, we're going to have some time during the All-Star break to diagnose, what's been working. We saw some interesting rotations these last couple of games with Mobley and Garland out. Some that I did tweet about that was like Neto, Lavert, Okoro, Jetty, and Lopez, which I didn't hate it at the end of the day.
Neto minutes, baby. Neto minutes.
You better get those Neto minutes in before Rubio comes back.
Oh, that's fine. I don't need to see any more Neto after that. But why have we not seen him all season?
I bet you will get Rubio back. Let's check out the schedule before we sign off. We're
on the longest away streak right here.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Was in like a 6-game road trip or something.
We are back on
the 16th. Pelicans. That'll probably be when we see them.
It's a good game.
That's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, that's probably a game we're gonna need.
A long ways away.
That game is 3 p.m. on a Monday.
What is January 16th?
Okay, let me get my calendar out. It has to be something going on that day.
I'll be watching at work.
Right, correct. Yeah, Justin.
January 16th, weird day. Still trying to figure out what would be going on that day.
I have a calendar.
2023.
Should I look? Anything?
I'm trying to see 16th of something. It's red.
Martin Luther King Day. That's why.
Martin Luther King Day.
There you go.
Cool. Basketball, 3 p.m. Mark your calendars. Justin, Donovan Mitchell, 71-point game. Final thoughts before we sign off for Cavs Encapsulated, episode 11.
I took my victory on it. I'm all good.
He's all good. Wrap it up. Logan, say all those big words that have lots of meaning, and we could just ride off into the sunset, baby. Go watch the short.
I think when it comes to this Cavaliers team, at the end of the day, knowing that we always have a safety valve in Donovan Mitchell is very reassuring. Last year, we didn't have that. If Garland was down, we were cooked. If Allen was down, we're cooked. Mobley's down, we're cooked. This year, we have the guy that can give you 70 freaking points on a random Monday night and really make your season, honestly. I mean, I'm going to be watching those highlights for a while. My last thought here, and I don't mean to get somber, but my prayers and thoughts with DeMar Hamlin. Absolutely scary last night. Obviously, I was celebrating watching the Cavs game and going nuts. I was, all in the moment with the Cavaliers and checked Twitter one time, and I couldn't believe what I had heard, what I had saw when I watched some videos. And thoughts and prayers from not me, but I'm sure Jeffrey, Justin, and the Cavs Encapsulated crew. I almost get choked up talking about it. These athletes, they can put up 71 points on a night, and another night they'll put up 10, and you'll be crucifying them. But they're human beings. They go through a lot of crazy things, and just want to send out my thoughts and prayers with him.
One of the I don't even know the word to use. One of the most bizarre nights of sports in my lifetime between DeMar Hamlin and Donovan Mitchell. I couldn't even process it. I didn't even know what was going on. And then we come on this show, it's like basically speechless and all the way around. So we appreciate that, Logan. Good shout out there. Good shout. Yeah, we'll be back with you guys next week. To predict, well, maybe we'll try to get a live stream in next week. Cavs Jazz. Hopefully we could squeeze it in. Something before, maybe something after. You never know, honestly. But either way, we'll get that prediction in when we get it in. We appreciate everybody for hanging out, hitting that like button, watching the shorts. Big shout out to everybody watching the shorts. Over 1,500 views on the last short that Logan produced, and me and Justin, we love those. We watch them. We get the little sneak peek before I upload them. It's like,
I always ask for their approval before it goes up. We gotta ask the editors.
The approval always gets pushed through. I promise that. For Justin, for Logan, it's been me, Jeffrey. Cavs Capsulated Crew, episode 11 in the books. Donovan Mitchell, one of the best performances you'll ever see. Before we see you next time, make sure you let him know